Hey guys, it's Kim, aka Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, and I am back today, the 5th of October 2024, with Flosstube 141 to talk about my September stitching progress. I have 7 pieces to show you that I worked on in September. One of them is a finish, and I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages that I got done in in September, but there's a story behind that. So by the numbers, September was my best full coverage stitching month so far this year. So buckle in. We got a lot of progress to show you. First of all, my focus on a finish for the year, which is Friends Forever by Ann Stokes. This is a retired Haid, and I am working in this corner with 5 full and 3 partial pages remaining. And one of those 6 pages I got done this month is this tiny partial page right here. So the partial page row at the bottom is only about 25 stitches high. And I had like 20 or so stitches left on that page. So I'm like, I'm definitely doing those colors since I'm, doing this, completing color by color on this. So I put in just over 3,400 tent stitches. I got that one partial page finish. So far in October, I've put in almost 1,000 stitches. Currently sitting at 96%, and I have 23 colors remaining out of 87. So there we go. And you see the partial page finish I have right here is right there. So 25 stitches high for that partial page finish. It's getting harder and harder to delineate the area with which I'm working, so I'm happy about that. Yep, so 23 colors left, and I'm putting in about 3,500 stitches per month. So we will keep working on that one. The one color that I put in so far this month is 3830, so there was a lot in here and some more up in here, so just kind of all over. A little bit was down here. So that is Friends Forever. My finish for the year, first finish for the year, is the one that I started last month out of Just Cross Stitch 2012 issue. This is the one where I'm only doing the full coverage portion of it. Because originally I was going to use it for an event here in October in Full Coverage Fanatics, but I just got it done in September instead. So this is Frady Cat's Welcome, designed by Cheryl Granda of Glendon Place. So I only did the main cat here. Stitched him on 18 count Ada. In August, I did 932 stitches, and then here in September, I did 832 stitches to finish him up. So, cute little piece. I'll finish it into some sort of ornament or small decor piece. I have so much finishing I should be doing, but instead I just keep stitching. So, first finish of 2024 on that one. And then I worked on my Q3 piece for the Full Coverage Fanatics seasonal sale. So this was summer, a summer activity or colors. Obviously outside playing cards with your friends. Card chart by Omar Rayan. This is a retired piece. In the first 2 months of the quarter, I got 1 page done, which was my goal for the year. And I said, I'm still going to work on it in September, but I'm not going to push for a 2nd page because I've already met my goal. I just want to get some more progress on it. Yeah, no, I got another page done. So I believe let's see, I think I worked on it 8 days. And I got that page done in that time. It went super quick. So 7,534 tent stitches to get this page done. This piece is only 10.84% complete. This is 28 count, easy count. And there you go. So there's the whole piece so far. I believe I have another page and a partial left for the row. So there we go. And here's up close the page. everything just worked really well to flow, like the colors flowed horizontally on that one for the most part, except for the glass blocks up the top. So that was really nice to get that page done. As I saw that it was going nicely and I decided to go for that page, the other reason that I decided to go for that is that last year in 2023, I did not meet all of my full coverage stitching goals. I had 61 no stitch days last year. It was not a good stitching year for me. So there was 8 pages that I did not complete out of all my goals across, I believe, 5 different whips. This was one of them. I was 1 page shy of meeting my goal. I had a 2-page goal and I only did 1. Well, now I have completed 3 pages on it this year. 2 were only for this year, and this one catches me up for not meeting my goal last year. Keep that in mind. We'll return to that as we go through whips and plans. So that was Card Sharp. And then I worked on my Greyhound. This was my New Year, New Start. Greyhound Year by the Blue Flower. I am going to be displaying these separately, so I'm not stitching the framework. And so I stitched up my September Greyhound. And for October, I looked ahead because I'm probably going to work on it this week. You see here in the corner, you've got a spider with his web. I'm not stitching the framework, so how is that going to work? Not quite sure. So I'll probably just stitch up the dog, the ghosts, and the bats, and the, his little treat bucket, and probably just leave out the spider on that one, because you can't have a web just hanging out in the middle of nowhere, right? So my needle minders are sticking together. This is 28 count coffee color. I forgot. It's an even weave. But there is the September dog. That is stitched using all the DMC equivalents. There are 946 stitches on this one. So, really cute guy. This is on my second piece of fabric, so it's got second half of the year so far. And then I'll just cut these apart. And I've got pieces of wood to finish them all on. So that was the Greyhound. And then the monthly event in Full Coverage Fanatics for September was Less is More. Work for a week on your piece with the fewest number of colors. Now, in my active whips, that would be Half-Blood Prince with 35 colors. But in my UFO bin, I talked about this last month. In my UFO bin, I have Odin by Xana Cross Stitch on Etsy. He's only got 9 colors. And so I started him on the 6th of October, 2020. And I have not worked on him since about the same time frame in 2021. So it has been almost 3 full years since I've worked on him. And the reason is feelings and why I started this piece to begin with. So if you haven't been with me that entire time, I will give you a brief synopsis. 6th October 2020. In my personal life, my ex-husband, who I was still married to at the time, was about to go on a long sortie or flight on a B-52, because he was B-52 aircrew in the Air Force. And we knew it was going to be quite a while. We knew that he was taking off late afternoon, evening of October 5th, and would not be back until October 7th. So for the day, the 24 hours of October 6th, he would not be setting foot on the ground. And I thought that was pretty freaking cool. You know, not many people can brag and say there was a day that they were alive, that they weren't on the ground. You know, astronauts and other pilots that fly the kind of aircraft that go for long sorties. So I was like, I'm going to start, because he's Scandinavian, and so are my girls, I'm going to start Odin on the day where he is not touching the ground. This also happened to be the day that year where Lieutenant Colonel results were released in the Air Force. And because they knew that he would be airborne at that time, they told us early that he was selected and made the promotion list. Come to find out, he never actually got to pin on, but needless to say, it was reasons to start this piece. And then when the shit hit the fan in 2021, I set it down and I have not worked on it since. So I was going to see if I could work on it again. I had 2.5 pages done on this one. The pages are a lot smaller than a Hade. So like page 1 on a Hade is 80 stitches wide by 98 tall. This one, the pages are 55 wide by 75 tall. And I had 2.5 pages done. So not only, I think I started him one afternoon early. So I worked on him 8 days. Not only did I finish the page that I had in work, I finished the page after that. And then I finished the partial page to complete the row. So in that time, I put in 9,770 stitches on this last month for 2 full pages and 1 partial page finish. Whew. 28 count, easy count. This is Odin. So I had this page in work with this wing of his helmet and this half. So that was fun to work on, but then all the rest of it was background. So that was my major complaint, is not that I had feelings while working on this one. It was boring. It was boring and tedious to put all these stitches on when there wasn't any variety in it. So side tangent, something else that happened in September is I went to a stitching meetup, hosted by Harmony of Cornerstone Stitchery. I'll link her below. She hosted the very first stitching meetup here in Saginaw, Michigan. So I got to meet several other stitchers, including Katrina, the crafty cataloger. So very happy to finally meet her in person. We didn't get to talk as much as we wanted to, but, you know, happy to see another Flosstuber face to face. Lots of other lovely, nice ladies. So this was one of the pieces that I took with me because I knew that I could stitch on it, and actually it was keeping me alert because I was listening to everybody talk, and I could just, you know, pound out those stitches, right? So everybody there really liked it. They said it looks better in person than it does in the video. So keep that in mind. And so now he is part of my regular rotation. He is at 15.59% complete. So more on him later. And after that, I was like, what do I work on for the remainder of the month? I had like 9 days left of the month or so. So going back to those 8 pages that I did not get done from my goals in 2023. U.S. Travel Shelf, I was a page short because I didn't touch that one. Well, I've already caught up on that one this year. I did 2 pages on it. Card Sharp, I was a page short. I've done that one, so that one's caught up. Kindred Spirits by Jody Bergersbaum, you know, I did not touch at all last year. I had a page goal of 2 pages, and I didn't even work on it a single day. So I have 2 pages to catch up on this one. My goal this year was another 2 pages. I have done those 2 pages for this year's goals. So now I'm only 2 pages behind for last year's goals. But not anymore. I was just working on it to see, you know, work towards that. But I got the page done. So, this one, let me show you. I'm working ahead of myself in my head. So, this one is being worked 25 count, easy count, but in diagonal pages. So let me back up here so you can see the whole thing. That's the whole thing so far. This is 33.93% done. So just about 34% done. Here's the page that I did this in September. So looking good there. And this was, so I've now done 3 pages on it this year. That is the most I've done on it in any given year. For some reason, so this was started May 1st, 2017. In 2017, I started 10 full coverage designs. It was my year of full coverage. I was going bananas, right? Of those 10, let's see, there's only 3 left. I finished everything else. So I finished 7 out of those 10. And the 3 left are Friends Forever, which is a finish this year, Kindred Spirits, and Sunday Delight. And Sunday Delight, you know, is going to be my finish for next year. So this will be my my next oldest WIP, once Friends Forever is done, and it is woefully low on progress at 34% complete. It's not my favorite to work on. I love the design, but for some reason it's not my favorite to work on. But obviously I've finished others that are younger than this one just because they're smaller in size and easier to do. No problem with that. But could I really, in my personality, kind of ignore this one and allow it only to get 2 pages done per year for the next, 10 years to get this one done? No. So I am not a product stitcher. I am not a process stitcher. I'm a progress stitcher. I want to see progress on all my WIPs. And this one, as it's soon to be oldest WIP, I cannot just let it languish and only get a little bit of progress on it each year. So I was on the computer and I played with numbers, looking at how many pages were left versus how many stitches were left, because now that, we've got Pattern Keeper, I don't have to contain my brain to only thinking in pages, right? Because, partial pages have different numbering, amounts and everything. So, and I know that on Friends Forever, I'm completing more than 42,000 stitches on it this year. So I can do that when I focus on a piece. I know for Sunday Delight for next year, I'm already way below 40,000 stitches. It's like 35,000, and I still have 1 page left to do on it this year. So it's going to be around 28,000 stitches to do in 2025, well below the 42 I'm doing on Friends Forever. So I was playing with numbers, figuring out what year I could get this as a finish with enough time to make, set those smaller goals to make that happen. Originally I was thinking 2029, right? So the piece would be 12 years old. Well, I'm like, let's just work the numbers, see what happens if I do it in 2028, right? So I know I can do 40,000 stitches as a focus here. This piece has, 178,000 stitches remaining. So do the math, you take out 40,000, and then you take the remaining number, divide it by 3, so you get roughly 46,000 stitches for 3 years each year, and then 40,000 on the finishing year. So I thought, no way could I keep up 46,000 stitches for 3 years in a row and get this done. I'm like, the color palette gets boring, but Friends Forever, I've been doing 5 pages a year on that for a while, and that's been fine. So let's try it. Even if I just do it 1 year and get 46,000 stitches is about 6.5 pages. Can you imagine if I just get 6.5 pages done in 1 year on this piece? That's some kick-ass progress, right? So I'm going to try it. So for 2025, I'm going to aim for 46,000 stitches on this one, and see if it works. If I don't have a problem with it, because if you stitch on it every day, that's 126 10 stitches. Not that much, right? The first 2 weeks of every month that I'm doing on Friends Forever, because I'm only doing it first 2 weeks of every month, I'm doing about 230 stitches per day. I'm still making that happen. There's some days where it's the only piece I work on if I'm too tired or whatever, and I might do more than 230. But if I limit myself and say I'm doing 126, max 130 stitches on it per day, because I don't want to get burned out on it, to try to get that as 46,000 stitches. Let's try it. So we're going to try it. 2025, we're going to try to get 46,000 stitches on this piece. If it works, I'll keep going. This will be my 2028 finish. Because I like plans and goals to see that progress. Okay. And then the last piece I worked on, of course, is my non-full coverage focus for the year. 4 Seasons Stitch Along by Modern Folk Embroidery. This month I put in 1,864 stitches. Oh, it's getting so close, guys. We are done with the main monthly portions. So all I did this month is I finished out these borders here, and then I stitched in the 3 triangles. So that's why I did more than normal, and I got 1,864 stitches because I wanted to get it to this point. So the only thing that's left is the bottom border. And as I've said in the months previous, I noticed that the bottom border here is different than the top border. And I would much rather just have this flipped upside down here. So what I've done in Pattern Keeper is I marked all this complete. I marked all this top border incomplete. So I am now at 94.44% done. I have 1,963 stitches remaining. So if I push myself, yes, I could probably get that done in October. I'm not going to push myself. This is a focus on a finish for the year. I don't want to get burnt out on it. It is 1/1 on 28 count Monaco that I dyed myself. I'm using Ecru floss. So I am going to try to do half that border in October and the other half in November. So you're talking about, 800, 850 stitches, right? 850 or so stitches, 875 to get this piece done. So we will soon see a finish. And this is just some navy cotton that I sewed on so I could, since my placement on the fabric is not optimal. So I can move it up on the Q-snap. I just sewed on my navy cotton fabric here. So that is 4 seasons. All right. October stitching plans. Friends Forever, 4 seasons, of course. Oh, I didn't show you Trick or Treat. So it's the 5th of October. Obviously, I've been stitching on more than just Friends Forever. The Q4 piece for fall in Full Coverage Fanatics, I am working on Trick or Treat by Randall Spangler. So I have the partial row complete. I have the full row of pages above that complete. So now I am starting a new row over here. We're still in the fence. And let's see, out of the 4 days of the month, I've worked on it 3 days so far. It's taken me 3 evenings, work evenings, weekday evenings to get all the parked threads stitched in. So I don't have the number of stitches I've done so far. It's probably around 1,010 stitches. There you go. So the page the page top part is right here, right at the, almost nearly the top of the iron wrought fence. So you can see all those parked threads I have gotten in there. My little blue dragling is keeping an eye on me. And of course, this is the one that I've done all the Black First Extreme Cross Country. So I am hoping over the next 3 months that I work on this, I only have 1 page left for my goals this year on this one. But going back to those 8 pages that I'm short for 2023, one of them was on Trick or Treat. So I would like to try to get in those 3 months 2 pages done. I think I can do that since I've already done it on Card Sharp, and on Card Sharp I didn't have, one color already completed on both pages. So I'm hoping I can get 2 pages done between October, November, and December on Trick or Treat. So keep watching for that. So October, Friends Forever, 4 seasons, Trick or Treat, my Greyhound. And for the Full Coverage Fanatics event for October is Amazingly Atypical. We want you to work on a piece that is not an atypical full coverage piece, meaning not electronic, not using Pattern Keeper or whatever markup XP, anything like that. We want you to work on a kit that's full coverage, or whether it's Mill Hill, Dimensions, or something out of a magazine like the one that I was originally going to do. So I am going to be starting Mill Hill Buttons and Beads Winter Stag. All right. And part of my haul, something that I saw, I believe it was Sarah Stitchin' Mommy that I saw on hers, is a little wooden frame with magnets in it to help with your perforated paper. I got this off of Etsy. This is the 14 centimeters by 14 centimeter size. Once I got it here in person, I didn't think it was going to work because I was holding up the perforated paper to the frame and it looked like it was just a smidgen too small, or the paper was too small for the frame. Because if you look at it, like, I don't know if you can see through it and see there's not that much overlap between where the frame is and, you know, like, it looks like the paper's barely holding on. But in this paper, it, like, I had some humidity issues, so that if you notice, can you see like the white residue on the paper? That's because it was sticking to stuff in the package. And that's why it's not falling off right now. It's kind of stuck to the frame. But once you stick it in the frame and stick the frame together, there's, like, can you hear that? There's pretty good tension there, right? It's not going to just pop out easily. So I can either stitch it in hand like this easily now without the thread getting caught on the sides, or I can put it in my Lowry frame, or Lowry stand and stitch two-handed. Or, you know, support it between my knee and my body and stitch two-handed that way. However you can make it work, right? I'd rather stitch two-handed. So this was part of my haul. Got it off Etsy. I will link the store below. It's always on sale. It seems like it's always on sale. So buy that if you like Mill Hill kits. Talking about haul, I bought 3 more full coverage designs. They were all on sale. All on pretty good sale. So I have been looking and really liking the stained glass patterns that I'm seeing other stitchers getting or seeing on Etsy, or, you know, seeing on Facebook. And I've just been taking my time and looking and trying to figure out which one I wanted. Well, I found this one that was on like a 60 or 70% sale. So it was a really good deal. And it's perfect for this time of year. Let me show you the design first. This is off of Etsy. They call it Halloween. I call it stained glass pumpkin. And so the artist is Rainbow Town. The pattern is Sharova Creations on Etsy. Again, I will link her below. Really fun stained glass pumpkin, right? Design size is 400 by 400. And let me pull it up in Pattern Keeper for you. Of course, me being me, I highlighted all the black to see what it looks like. You guys, you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to stitch all the black first. Because I like doing that. If you know, look at Trick or Treat. Look at Story Keep What Lies Within. I like stitching the black first. And that'll be fun. 42,000 stitches in black. I think Trick or Treat had like 68. So I can do this. I don't know when I'm going to start it. But, yeah. So I bought that one. And then I bought 2 more that were on sale. Everybody probably knows that we lost an incredible actress, Dame Maggie Smith, also known as Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter series. And Shelley Lee of Tilton Crafts made her own artwork of honoring Maggie Smith and her character as Professor McGonagall. So she has this as a limited edition chart through Tilton Crafts, and it's only available through this weekend. She was gonna like, limited edition means she only sells a certain number of charts, and she was gonna zero it out yesterday, Friday the 4th, but she decided to keep it open through this weekend. So if you want this chart, go to Tilton Crafts, link below, and snatch it up. She always has a coupon code, so also look on the website and see what her current coupon code is. So this is rest in peace, Professor McGonagall. And if you can tell, she does have it charted as a square. So it is 350 by 350. And I have already loaded this into Pattern Keeper. And I have marked off one 10 by 10 block all the way around. And then I've rounded the corners evenly. Or as evenly as you can do a rounded off corner. so that I have more of a square with rounded off corners, with a more like a consistent border, right? And that knocked out over 17,000 stitches that I don't have to do. So I bought that pattern, and then I have been looking at Stitches So Beautiful. I know a lot of people are picking up her patterns recently, and the September Artist of the Month was Sir Kai. And anytime that there's an Artist of the Month, their patterns are on sale for that month. So I picked this one up. I had already seen and liked this pattern, but it's on sale. I gotta buy it, right? She does have it in 3 different sizes. She's got a small, a regular, and a large with max colors, but the max colors is only it's less than 130 colors, so it's not bad. And the large size is only about the size of Friends Forever, like 400 by 600. Detail's amazing, right? Looks great. I was this close to buying it, but doing the long-term stitching plans that I will talk about later, I was like, I really don't need another ginormous piece, right? The regular size is still pretty good quality, and I can get it done faster. So the regular size is 305 by 400, 90 colors. This is Ready for an Adventure. Oh my God, look at him. This little dragon guy with his pack. Don't ask me how he's going to access his pack. This is fantasy. We don't ask those questions. But he's so cute. I love him. Again, I don't know when I'm going to start him, but I got a pattern. It's on sale. Was on sale. So that was my haul. I stitched every single day in September. Let's talk some numbers. I already told you it was my best month so far for full coverage. So full coverage, tent stitches, 27,886 stitches. Non-full coverage, full cross, we're talking 3,642 stitches. So year to date, that brings me to a full coverage tent stitch. So for 80 cats, I'm counting as non-full coverage because it's full cross. So year to date, full coverage tent stitch, 170,959 stitches. And for year to date, non-full coverage / full cross stitch, 30,546. Let's see. So long-term stitching plans. I was playing on my computer with my Excel sheet because, as I said, I'm a progress stitcher. I want to keep seeing progress, but I also like really having the one full coverage finish a year. Now, last year my full coverage finish was a smaller piece because I couldn't figure it out. That was the Carolyn Manning old flannel shirt. Yes, I probably could plan this. This would be really easy starting it this year and finishing it wherever I could fit it because it's full coverage. It's small, but it's full coverage, right? I don't know what the actual stitch count is on it. But if I can do a larger piece, I'd like to do a larger piece. So playing with numbers, thinking stitches rather than restricting myself to pages, I looked at that. So we already know Sunday Delight is my 2025 finish. I've already talked about that Story Keep What Lies Within will be my 2026 finish because I've got all the black done. I've got the first row done. If I get 14,000 stitches on it next year, that'll get me within that 40,000 stitches to do in 2026 for the finish. And then, 2027, I didn't know what I was going to do. So I played with the numbers, and Half-Blood Prince by Tilton Crafts was originally going to be a 2028. But I played with the numbers. I figured out how I can finish it in 2027. Okay. And then Kindred Spirits, that's my 2028. 2029 is now going to be Odin. Now that I know I can work on him, he's already, 15.5%. He works fast. I can get through it and get him done in 2029. And then by stitches remaining, I'm looking at all my whips. The big 6 that I have are not going to get done anytime soon. So that is Trick or Treat, Supersized Color Expansion Museum Shelf, Card Sharp, because we know that one's not even 11% done. Supersized Max Color Animal Totem. I've only got 3 pages done on that one. 3 partial pages. Supersize A Confabulation of Dragons. That's the one where I cut it into 3 pieces as a triptych, and I'm doing the largest size now. I'm only considering that largest size as the current whip, and it's still going to take me a long time to get it done because I've only got like 4 pages done on it. And also US Travel Shelf. So those are my big 6 that are going to, even though Travel Shelf is a regular size chart, it's still going to take me a while. I've only got 3 partial pages done on it. So that leaves me with the only other piece within range that's the small enough size that I already have started for 2030 is going to be Midnight Munchies by Randall Spangler, which was my Leap Day new start this year. I've only got 1 partial page done on it, but it's a smaller piece, and by 2030, 6 years from now, it'll be within striking range to get it done. So that'll be 2030. Now, after that, we're talking 2031 and beyond. It's probably going to be one of these smaller pieces that I just showed you that I just bought. The Stained Glass Pumpkin or Professor McGonagall or Ready for an Adventure. It's probably going to be one of those for 2031. And we'll just go from there, keep building. Plans can change, doesn't mean that I won't change things around before. I have certainly in the past. A Summer Ball, that's the one that looks like, Pride and Prejudice. I finished that one way before I was supposed to, but that's because emotionally I was stuck working on that piece while I, went through a major life event. So I got that one done in a hurry. So that's what we're looking at for long-term full coverage finishes. There is a lot of non-full coverage pieces that I want to start and work on. And I'm just trying to figure out how to balance full coverage versus non-full coverage. Looking through the pieces I have kitted or the pieces where I just have the chart and need, things that have come out that I want to stitch, like Shannon Christine's Nutcrackers. I want to stitch those. I have fabric that is the right size and color. I haven't bought the patterns yet, but I really want to stitch those. My daughters have seen them. They want me to stitch those. Like, how do I fit everything in? I don't know. So things going on in my head, trying to figure out how I can get more non-full coverage progress in there too. I was thinking, do I pick another non-full coverage piece to focus on next year for non-full coverage finish? My oldest one is Santa Sampler. That one takes me a while to work on. But it's only the oldest by like a month. After that, it's Templar Prophecy. That one also, while it's only, 3 colors, it takes me a while to work on because I'm making those changes. And then, so Templar Prophecy, Santa Sampler, Victorian Lady by Joan Elliott that I started on New Year's Eve. Those are my only... Are those my only non-full coverage? Excuse me. Yeah, because the Greyhound Year is going to be finished this year. And so is 4 Seasons. So I'll end the year, unless I start something else, with only 3 non-full coverage pieces. That's not a good balance. I need to start more non-full coverage pieces. And it was really since 2021 when the shit hit the fan that I started limiting myself. Because so much was going on in life, I couldn't deal with a lot of whips. But now, there's some Flosstubers, a lot of Flosstubers mostly like to whip down. But there's a couple of you out there that are thinking about whipping up, and I'm there with you. I think I need to whip up a little bit. Give myself some more whips to work on, and not... Maybe I need to start some more non-full coverage so I'm not as tempted to start every single full coverage piece that I have. So that's what I'm thinking of. Life update really quick. We're at 40 minutes already. The kittens got spayed this week, so they are doing well. Emerald kind of freaked out a bit when she woke up from her anesthesia. My mom is the one that picked them up from the vet, so I wasn't able to ask, but I don't know if they had them in 2 separate cages when they recovered. And I'm wondering if they were separate. That's why she was freaking out. And because she was rubbing her face against the cage bars, so she has 2 little abrasions on her cheeks, like under her eyes, where she rubbed all the hair off. Like she rubbed her face raw in 2 different spots. She was pretty darn swollen in her face that night, Wednesday night, when she came home and into Thursday. But she was still able to eat and drink and breathe, obviously. But today is the first day where, those of us who have had C-sections, we know that it hurts. Like you can't do a lot. And so I could see Thursday and Friday, they weren't doing a lot because they hurt. They were getting pain pills, but they hurt. Today, they are back to their normal selves and running amok. Yes, amok is the great word to use because it is October. They've been running amok, just going crazy. So they are feeling better for sure. Let's see. I feel for everyone who has been affected by the hurricanes. There's not much that we can do up here in Michigan other than donate. The other interesting thing is, since I do work at a big diesel truck dealership in the service department, one of our customers is a power company. And before the hurricane hit, of course, we knew the hurricane was coming. We just didn't know exactly where. So that customer brought some of their trucks to us to do some, little repairs so that they could be ready to go to drive down south and help out. And that's where they are right now. They're still down there helping out and trying to restore power to those areas. So that's, kind of interesting. Even up here in Michigan, we can try to help those out that are in need. The biggest thing, Spencer, he's fine. But my last video I recorded on September 1st, and after I made the video that same day, I took my oldest daughter to the barn to ride, typical weekend activity, and the barn owner came up to me and said, 30-day notice, I have to raise the board. Okay. I understand, inflation, prices go up and everything like that. But the background story is from fall of 2021 all through last year, I paid the same board rate. And she told us before the new year that she had to go up. She went up her board price by $75, which was a lot. Like, I had no problem with her board going up, but she jumped up $75 for January. I was expecting like $25 or $50. And then September 1st, she tells me I have to go up on board again, $100. So within a year, she jumped her board price up $175 more than it already was. And that was the last straw on a bunch of things. So I started looking for a new place to board Spencer. It took me a week of calling and looking around, trying to find a place, but I did find him a place. It's not quite as close, but it's still pretty close. Like, it took us 6-7 minutes to drive to where he was at, and now it takes us 12. 12 minutes is not that big a deal. I cannot park my trailer at that facility, but I'm driving past the storage place where it's now at on my way to the barn. So if we need something out of the tax space in the trailer, we can do that. I can put my eyes on my trailer every single day or every single time we drive to the barn and see that it's fine at the storage facility. So Spencer is there. I'm paying a whole lot, even paying to park my trailer at a storage facility. I'm still paying over $100 less than I currently was before the second price increase. And he's getting better care. And instead of just an insulated indoor arena, This place has show horses, so their indoor arena in the wintertime is heated to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's some bougie stuff, if premium stuff. So we'll, I already at the old barn would trim some of Spencer in the wintertime so that his sweaty areas would have a shorter coat and therefore not get drenched when we ride him in the wintertime. So I might have to clip a little bit more of him. He already keeps blankets on to keep him warm in the wintertime, so that's not a problem. But that'll be interesting to ride in 60-degree arena in the wintertime. Versus the insulated indoor arena was still plenty warmer than it was outside at the old barn, but you could still see your breath, to put it in perspective. So Spencer is now at a new barn. So that is it. I think I'm going to stop talking. It's been 46 minutes. I hope everybody has a good stitching October. Enjoy the Halloween season, and we'll see you back here right after Halloween, the beginning of November. All right, guys. Happy stitching.